Welcome back to our channel where we unravel the complexities of the human mind. Today's topic, Narcissists Realization, Losing the One. In this video, we aim to shed light on the enigmatic behavior of narcissists when they lose someone significant in their lives. We'll delve deep into their reactions, dissecting and analyzing their patterns of denial, projection, and quick replacement. These behaviors aren't random, they're carefully crafted manipulation tactics designed to maintain their illusion of superiority and control. Understanding these tactics is the first step towards safeguarding yourself from their harmful impact. So, buckle up and prepare for a deep dive into the narcissist's mind. We'll begin with their first line of defense, denial. Stay tuned, this journey is going to be enlightening. Do narcissists know they've lost the one? Well, let's start by exploring their first reaction. Denial. Picture this, the narcissist, the self-absorbed individual who prides themselves on their inflated sense of self-worth, suddenly faces the harsh reality of losing someone significant. Their initial reaction? Denial. Narcissists have a knack for twisting reality to suit their narrative. When faced with the distressing reality of losing someone, they choose to retreat into a cocoon of denial. Why? It's simple. Admitting to the loss indicates that they hold some responsibility, that they have faults and shortcomings. And let's be honest, that's a bitter pill for a narcissist to swallow. Their denial stems from the fear of confronting the truth of their inadequacies, of acknowledging that they might not be the paragon of perfection they believe themselves to be. They'd rather live in a world where they are always right and never at fault. This denial is a protective mechanism, a safeguard for their fragile self-esteem. You see, in the narcissist's mind, they are the sun around which all others orbit. To admit that someone doesn't want to be a part of their life is to challenge this false sense of superiority. And that's something they just can't handle. Denial becomes their shield, their armor against the stinging reality of rejection. They convince themselves that they don't care about the person they've lost, that they are better off without them. It's not a case of them losing someone, it's the other person losing the privilege of their company. By denying the reality of the situation, narcissists maintain control. They keep the illusion of their superiority intact and avoid feeling vulnerable or weak. It's a well-crafted defense mechanism, one that serves to protect them from the harsh realities of life. So in a narcissist's world, they haven't lost you, you've lost them. They are the ones who remain unscathed, their self-esteem and superiority intact, all thanks to the power of denial. Moving on from denial, another common behavior exhibited by narcissists is projection. This is a psychological defense mechanism where they deflect their negative emotions and flaws onto others. It's like they're holding up a mirror to you, but instead of your reflection, you see their insecurities and shortcomings mirrored back. This is their way of avoiding the painful self-examination that comes with loss. Why do they project these onto the person they've lost? Well, narcissists find it incredibly difficult to process negative emotions or admit their mistakes. So when they lose someone significant, they often resort to projection to cope. Instead of acknowledging their shortcomings, they project them onto the person they've lost, essentially blaming them for the demise of the relationship. Through projection, narcissists make you feel like the one at fault. They might accuse you of being unloving, unfaithful, or selfish, even when these accusations are far from the truth. This diverts attention away from their own shortcomings and allows them to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. Imagine a spotlight shining on a stage. Narcissists love being in the spotlight, but when it comes to their flaws, they'd rather direct that light onto someone else. By projecting their negative traits onto you, they can keep themselves out of the harsh glare of self-examination and maintain their false sense of superiority. But how does this make you feel? Often you're left feeling guilty and ashamed, questioning your actions and doubting your worth. Meanwhile, the narcissist denies any fault, leaving you to shoulder the blame alone. In essence, the narcissist uses projection as a shield, protecting their ego and preserving their self-image. They create a narrative where they're the victim and you're the villain, further reinforcing their sense of superiority. By understanding this behavior, you can begin to separate fact from fiction and free yourself from the guilt and shame that comes with being the target of a narcissist's projection. Finally, let's delve into the narcissist's tendency to move on quickly after they've lost someone. This might seem contradictory for those who believe that love and deep connections take time to build. However, for narcissists, relationships are more like transactions, a means to an end rather than a bond formed through mutual affection and respect. Imagine a narcissist's relationships as items on a supermarket shelf. When one item is sold out or no longer available, they quickly replace it with another without giving it a second thought. The value isn't in the individual item, but in the validation and attention it provides. So when they lose someone, they don't mourn the loss. Instead, they quickly seek someone else to fill that void. Their behavior isn't about a pursuit of love or companionship. It's a desperate scramble for validation and self-worth. The narcissist's ego is fragile, and their self-esteem depends heavily on the admiration and attention they receive from others. By moving on quickly, they can maintain the illusion of desirability and remain unaffected by the breakup, at least on the surface. This quick replacement, however, serves another purpose. It's a control tactic. By appearing to move on so swiftly, they aim to make you feel insignificant, as if you were easily replaceable. It's their way of saying, "See, I didn't need you. You've made a mistake leaving me." This is an attempt to provoke regret and self-doubt in you, to keep you under their control even after the relationship has ended. But remember, this is just another illusion, another game the narcissist plays. You are not insignificant. You are not easily replaceable. Their quick replacement doesn't reflect your worth, but rather their inability to form deep, meaningful connections. So, in the narcissist's mind, they haven't lost you, they've simply replaced you. In conclusion, narcissists have a unique way of dealing with loss. They go through a cycle of denial, refusing to accept that someone important has chosen to distance themselves. This denial stems from their inability to face their faults and a desperate need to maintain a false sense of superiority. They also resort to projection, deflecting their negative qualities onto the person they've lost to avoid responsibility and keep their ego intact. Finally, they move on swiftly, seeking validation from others to prove their desirability and to appear unaffected by the loss. These behaviors are all mechanisms to protect their fragile self-esteem and to maintain control. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to safeguarding yourself from their manipulation. Understanding their behavior is crucial in breaking free from their grip and building a healthier future for yourself. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the human psyche.